Shalom, shalom. Shalom. Giving all praises to my heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh by Yeshua, Yahweh Shah, by Yeshua Qadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders that be well, and peace and many salutations to you brothers out there that's toiling in this truth. Now, if look at this. This was posted a few days ago. September the 20th, actually, about a week or so ago. This says a week or two ago. It says, GMS praise curses on B in their LQ language. And that stands for low IQ. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing
how do you know that you're
just the reason why I'm doing this down this is because this shows you that vocab alone strives to a lot of white supremacist ideologies. Now we know that the whole terminology of low IQ and things of that nature, that's used as a derogatory term towards so-called African Americans, which are part of the nation, the true nation of Israel, to demonize us and to make us seem subhuman. And conversely, there's this terminology of low IQ versus a high IQ. That's a way for them to push themselves as the dominant race. And this, what we see is nothing but hegemony taking place, okay, which is not a bad thing, okay. I wanted to say this: racism builds civilizations, and with that with that structure comes cultural dominance. Vocab alone is set to propagate Italian supremacy with the concept of religion. Now, there are other avenues in which Esau Edom has lied and propagated himself up as, the most evolved people, the most spiritual people, right? Right. This is a religious, example, if you will. Okay, let's look at this word, hegemony. That says hegemony is a leadership or dominance, especially by one group of social group over others. Leadership, dominance, supremacy. Okay, this is what we're seeing. Esau Edom tongue is walking the face of the earth. What does that mean? Well, his way, his policy, his understanding is accepted as the norm, accepted as to be correct because of how he dominated the world via sword, via destruction. Okay, so the people of the world, what do? They believe wholeheartedly in his ways. Okay, now let's get Psalm 73 and 3. Now, I would say this about Vocab. Vocab, I would say I guess, it's a hint of racism there. But he's low level, and I think terminology that he uses, especially low IQ, high IQ concept, he doesn't know the background in which it came from. He just uses it, But I'm gonna hopefully bring that out to that whole concept, more the modern concept of using the the whole idea of low IQ versus high IQ. Okay, now this is Psalms 73 and 3. I'll start at I'll start at 6, actually, get to the point. Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain. Violence covered them as a garment because of their dominance, because their ability, because Esau Edom's dominance and his ability to get away with literally murder by conquest, by conquest. Um, you know, he believes he is the dominant race. Um, and with that understanding, he's very prideful, right? And rightfully so. He's on top right now. But we're here, the prophets of the Lord are here to tell you that your kingdom is home. And this is something that all prophets have done in the ancient world. Okay? And we've always received backlash because Jeremiah 28:8 actually talks about this. Jeremiah 28:8. Let me get this for you guys. Okay, because this is what we're set up here to do. We're here to prophesy a great kingdoms, and a great kingdom is America, aka great. Okay, we're here to tell you that this place is going to be destroyed. Now, with that understanding, we're going to be demonized. We're going to be called, traitors. We're going to be called enemy of the state. Much like what Yahweh Shai, the man who the word English called Jesus, much like Yahweh Shai, had to endure. Yahweh Shai was talking, preaching about the kingdom of heaven. We are too. Okay? So, in order for the kingdom of heaven to come, this place has to be taken out of the way. It has to be destroyed. Okay? Vocab alone has a problem with that, right? This place, because he's for the dominance of people. That's what it ultimately boils down to. Okay? Now, this is Jeremiah 28:8. The prophet that has been before thee and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. Okay, the prophet that which prophesied of peace. When the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall be known that Yahweh has truly sent him. See, the thing about Vocab alone is Vocab alone, he doesn't get into prophecy. Like the things that are going on in Israel right now, I highly doubt that he will even speak on that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just not his lane. Okay? He doesn't have the most high. And ultimately the most high didn't give him this understanding to be able to prophesy. Okay? So the things that he talks about when he's not talking about us is fluff. Fluff. Let's just be honest. It lacks luster. He has made a career off of us, following us. He was a nobody before us, okay? So he needs us, all right? He needs us. But we don't need him. Why is that? Because we have prophecy, okay? We understand that World War III is on the way. World War III happening or said to happen. We understand that Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed, aka America. Okay? He can accept that. All right? So, Vocab alone, right now, he's very proud. He doesn't prophesy, and he thinks that the place is going to be able to sustain itself. And he's sadly mistaken. Okay? But his arrogance, let you know who he is, or what nationality that he is. He's what you would call an Edomite. Okay, back to it. It says Psalm 73 and 6. Therefore pride compasses them about as a chain, and violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. Right? Think about uh, the riches that was gained during slavery of the northern and southern kingdom, the so-called Latino, Negro, and natives. Think about how much capital, uh, which makes money. Capital, riches were attained because of uh, our destruction. Okay, so these guys are balling. America was balling for a substantial amount of time, and these European countries by colonization. You know, in one situation dealing with France, uh, you know, it's just now being addressed by the natives of that land. Okay, in those West African countries. Okay, so these people have lived deliciously, off the backs of other people. It's going to say in this next verse 8. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. You see that? They speak very arrogantly about, you know, oppression. You know, they have no regard for it. And the whole concept of low IQ, that plays a part of it. Now, how can we make that argument? Now, during what I want to say the 1960s, the book, The Bell Curve, controversial book came out, and was stating that okay, now that we have certain
What if
things,
I told you?
Certain policies set in place to help the poor, to get on track. We could raise their IQ, and then there were certain tests that was coming out saying that the IQ was raised when in fact it wasn't. So there was a book that was written by a gentleman that states, well, maybe it's not the environment that's a factor. It doesn't matter that these guys are in, the ghetto and being oppressed and, you know, uh, being relegated to, subpar resources, which causes bad habits of that nature. That doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is they're inherently, less intelligent than the white race. Okay. So this will be an example, the whole bell curve IQ. The concept, this would be an example of pseudoscience. Okay, because this wouldn't be existing if we were in rulership. Okay. This is allowed to happen because Esau Edom is ruling. They have cultural hegemony right now. Okay. Let's listen to this guy. Hopefully you'll be able to edify what I'm trying to say.
What do we know about from that book and the research beyond about race differences and intelligence?
It's still the most incendiary topic in psychology. Nothing has changed that. Anybody who even discusses it is easily called a racist just for discussing it. It's become fashionable to find racism in any discussion like this. It's unfortunate. The short answer to your question is there's been very little actual research on this topic since
since the bell curve.
Since the bell curve, even before. This really became incendiary in 1969 with an article published by an educational psychologist named Arthur Jensen.
So he said, what he's saying is that anybody who wants to compare IQ intelligence between races, they're deemed as racist. That's what he said. Okay. All right.
Let's just take a minute and go back to that to see the bell curve in a little bit more historical perspective. Arthur Jensen was a educational psychologist at UC Berkeley. I knew him as well. And in 1969 or 68, the Harvard Educational Review asked him to do a review article on the early childhood education programs that were designed to raise the IQ.
You said something about education. I want to see if I can grab anything on it. History. Just curious to see if I can find anything. Okay. No, I can't find anything on that. Just curious. Sorry about that.
Cues of minority students. This was before federally funded Head Start program. Head Start had not really gotten underway at the time Jensen undertook his review of what were a number of demonstration programs. And these demonstration programs were for young children around kindergarten age, and they were specially designed to be cognitively stimulating, to provide lunches, do all the things that people thought would minimize this average gap of intelligence tests. There was a strong belief among virtually all psychologists that the cause of the gap was unequal opportunity due to racism, due to all negative things in the society.
So they're saying that the government implemented the Head Start program, which a Head Start program, just briefly looking, it's nothing but basically certain programs, things in nature that you get your child in, for them to be up to par on certain things such as speech, motor skills. Okay, so they say, "Go ahead, hey, we implemented these things, and we have pretty positive results." Which is going to say, "Go ahead."
And if you could compensate for this, the gap would go away. So early childhood education back then was called literally compensatory education. Jensen looked at pros. He was an empirical guy. He understood psychometrics, and he wrote it was over 100-page article detailing these programs and the flaws in their research design. Some of the programs reported IQ gains of, on average, 5 points, but a few reported 10, 20, and even 30-point gains. One was called the Miracle in Milwaukee. That investigator went to jail ultimately for fabricating data. But the point is that Jensen wrote an article that said, look, the opening sentence of his article is classic. The opening sentence is, I may not quote it exactly right, but it's, "We have tried compensatory education and it has failed." And he showed that these gains.
So compensatory gain, or the early stages of Head Start, was put in place to compensate for the gap in income or social disparities. Okay, and after a few years, people were saying they was a huge, they were having huge gains in IQ. This gentleman came. It's because these people that we're trying to help have lower IQs, and it's hereditary. It's innate. They're born stupid. Okay, this is what he's basically saying. And now this is the same concept that or vocab alone here use to demonize us. Okay, uses a racial epithet, which is as always hard. It's easy for me to write it and say it.
Epithet.
Yeah, epithet. It says an adjective or descriptive phrase expressing a quality characteristic of the person or thing mentioned. Now, this is the second one. The second definition, what I want. A word you, the term of use. It goes back to that we see America, aka Babylonian culture. Okay, all right. Basically, in a nutshell, they still think the same way about us. That we bunch of niggas and speaks and Uncle Tomahawks. Okay, but let's go back to this.
We're essentially nothing. You couldn't really document empirically any gains at all from these really earnest efforts to increase IQ. But he went a step further, a fateful step further. He said, not only have these efforts failed, but because they have had essentially no impact, we have to examine our assumption that these differences are caused by environmental things that we can address with education. We need to consider a genetic influence, whether there's a genetic influence.
So he said, okay, now that we had head starts for less than 100 years, now mind you, he wrote this in the 1960s. Okay, there were certain areas in the United States that were still segregated. People were still being discriminated against. When I say discriminated against, you gotta understand. Judah wasn't allowed into certain institutions. And also the institutions that we were a part of. In a lot of ways was subpar. Subpar with not necessarily with the teaching, the staff, but with the resources that we had. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Although in a lot of ways we were better, we were in a better predicament, with segregation because we had a thriving economy. Okay. And also, even within us, thriving within segregation, you understand, there was hundreds of cities that were toppled and then, taken over by Esau Edom. Okay, there was more cities than the ones that we always hear about. Well, in Oklahoma, I forget the exact place. There was several thriving cities in Texas and North Carolina, South Carolina. So you know what I'm saying? So these guys, they destroy our economy. You know what I'm saying? Put certain laws in place to where we can't vote by Jim Crow law. We can't be a part of certain institutions, and of course, receiving jobs. We can't be a part of certain job occupations. Especially in the rural South. That's so-called black doctor. That's unprecedented now. There was other places that was segregated, but specialized businesses and they were still controlled by Esau Edom. Okay. On top of the fact being incarcerated, for unjust things. Before I'm talking about before the crack era. I'm alluding to the 13th Amendment. Okay, and with all that being said, This guy has to say, hey, that has nothing to do with it. It's just the fact that genetically speaking, you know, you're a subpar. You have a low IQ. And this is what Vocab alone believes. He believes we're a bunch of hurt. Don't get it twisted. He believes we're a bunch of hurt niggas that are mad that we didn't get a fair shake. That's what he believes. Don't get it twisted. When he comes, we be, you know, uh, you know, diplomatic with him because he's a devil. But don't get it twisted. All this jargon and things of that nature. Um, he don't fuck with us, man. Okay, he he's an Edomite. All right, he don't fuck with us. All right, but let's go back to the scriptures. Okay, that went on a little rant. Um, now, uh, Psalm 64 and 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. And Esau Edom has been hell bent since the beginning of our interaction to exterminate us off the face of the earth. And he's going to use these great swelling words and these empirical findings to do so, because he is the wicked. He's going to speak wickedly. It's quite simple. Verse 3, who wet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. They may shoot in secret at the perfect. Surely do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of lying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? All right. So Esau Edom, he wets his tongue as a sword, or sharpen his tongue as a sword. You look at the word wet. To do what? To destroy the perfect. To destroy those that truly fear Yahweh by Shema. This is what Vocab alone does to us. He depicts us as disgruntled Negroes with low IQs who need to get it together. That's what he thinks of us. Okay? And it comes out. Okay? But that mindset, there's a whole institution and a whole train of thought that comes that the whole low IQ concept comes from, which was used as a rationalization to put us into further subjection, to be further demons unto us. And ultimately, it's witchcraft. It's a lie. Okay? Verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of lying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Esau Edom does with his pseudoscience. Okay? Bring this out a lot. This is an example of pseudoscience. Okay? So when we use these words, let's, make sure we understand what we're using, how we're using them. Okay? Proverbs 30 and 14. There is a generation whose teeth are as swords, and their jaws teeth as knives, to destroy the poor from off the earth and the needy from among them. You see that? Esau Edom has made a science, that states that they need to proliferate the desired genes and destroy the ones that aren't desirable. And who has he depicted as undesirable? You so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. This is why he's hell bent on destroying you. Okay? All right. And this is a part of having dominance. Okay, this is a part of that Roman Empire. Okay, we are in an extension of the Roman Empire. Okay. Daniel 11:25. And he spake great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Lord, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given unto his hand until a time and times and dividing of time. Okay, so the Most High has it there. Esau even is ruling with his rulership. What he's done, he's destroying the will of the Heavenly Father. There's such an attack on the earth. There's an attack on humanity itself. Perversion is at an all-time high, right? Alluding to sexuality. Okay, so he's going to rule until he's taken out of the way. Okay, Daniel 7:26. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and destroy it to the end. And the kingdom and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. The men shall serve, and they have this rule. This is why we're being raised up, right? And that's why this push to stop this movement of because we understand that we are the true saints of the Heavenly Father, the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, right? Also foreign Israelites that might look like other people, but are in fact Israelites. Okay? But the majority, right, of the Israelites dwell amongst the majority dwells amongst the minority. Okay? All right? This is why Vocab alone is going so hard, to stop us. All right? They say it's just destruction. We send destruction and fire to Vocab alone. And this was happening unto his precious kingdom. It's happening right before his eyes. He has nothing to say about that, though. He definitely doesn't have anything to say about the war that's going on over there in the Holy Land. Okay, so big things are happening. Big things are happening, man. All right. Pray that this was edifying for you all. Give all praise to my Father's name, Yahweh, by Shema, Shah, Person, Qadash. Devon City, Pastor, as well. Peace, salutations, you are true. Shalom.